So similar to Sadaranikaran model of communication, Chinese communication tradition pays more attention to internal acceptance, which embodied a strong acceptance subjectivity. If the Western community theory represents a transmission view of communication, then Chinese communication theory represents a larger reception view of communication. So Chinese communication thought emphasizes introversion, collectivity, and relationship, and has different communication theories, concepts, methods, and models from the West. It has been more than 2 decades since the Narayanakara model of communication was put forward. In the study of this communication model, on the one hand, I think it is necessary to clarify the differences between it and the Western classical communication model.
We now have remarks by Professor Dr.Han Hong, Vice President of the School of Public Administration, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. He is joining us online.
Professor Han is a distinguished academic and media professional with expertise in communication, public administration, and literature. With a PhD in literature and arts from Sichuan University, Professor Han's academic journey has been marked by a commitment to exploring diverse research fields, particularly focusing on communication dynamics in the Trans-Himalayan region and Tibet-related topics. Professor Han is currently serving as the Vice Dean of School of Public Administration at the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Notably, Professor Dr. Han is on the advisory board of Bodhi, an interdisciplinary journal. His institution has a partnership with the Department of Language and Mass Communication, School of Arts, Kathmandu University. Over to you, Professor.
Dear Professor Bola Taba, Ms. Akil Maya Pang, and Dr. Nirma Mani Adhikari, and distinguished guests, dear students, good morning. It's my honor to attend this international seminar on 2 decades of the Sadaranikaran model of communication. And I'm Professor Han Hong from the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Just as Professor, we will desire to emphasize that at this stage in the development of the scholarly study of communication, it is indeed important to explore the concept of communication that have been formulated in the Western societies as a means of promoting a greater degree of understanding of the nature of human interaction. The topic of my speech today is China's communication thought and Oriental wisdom. I intend to share with you about the Chinese communication thought in the process. Chinese communication studies originated in the late 1970s. In 1977, Zhuang, the well-known American communication scholar, visited the Chinese University of Hong Kong and began to advocate the exploration of the communication cultural heritage in Chinese traditional culture. He visited to China in 1982, inspired the rise of communication study in China. China's communication theory is rooted in the traditional culture of China, which includes Confucian ethics, Taoist dialectical thinking, and communication thought of the Zen Buddhism. And there is a summary and embodiment of the Chinese communication culture. Compared with Western communication theories, Chinese communication theory has obvious differences in cultural origin, value orientation, thinking method, expression mode, and the scope of application. And it's an original paradigm that is obviously different from Western communication theories, and also a little bit different from the Sadaranikaran model of communication. Like Western communication theory, exists in the form of a model. But Chinese communication thought is more like an expression of thought, different from Sadaranikaran model of communication. Chinese communication thought has a strong secularization feature, which is a philosophical reflection based on the summary of people's life experience. Meanwhile, expressed with Chinese idioms, proverbs, and common sayings. To a great extent, the starting point and the dissertation of communication activities are morality, different from empirical school and critical school. Chinese culture emphasizes self-cultivation. Chinese communication theory focuses on how to build a harmonious life, a harmonious society, and a harmonious universe through communication activities. The general orientation of empirical school and critical school is to improve social ecology and cultural ecology through the transformation of media ecology. Well, the general orientation of Chinese communication theory is to optimize social relations through the coordination of interpersonal relations. So the tradition of Western communication pays more attention to outward transmission, which shows a strong transmission subjectivity. Compared with the tradition of transmission in modern Western communication study, Chinese people pay more attention to the concept of reception. The discussion on the inward spread of wisdom in China communication can start with Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Emphasize harmonious spread in the history of Chinese thoughts. Even Zen Buddhism combined the thoughts of Confucianism and Taoism rather than a pure form of religious communication. So similar to Sadaranikaran model of communication, Chinese communication tradition pays more attention to internal acceptance, which embodied a strong acceptance subjectivity. If the Western communication theory represents a transmission view of communication, then Chinese communication theory represents a larger reception view of communication, which pay great attention to the individual's subjectivity and the initiative in accepting information and meaning. So Chinese communication thought emphasizes introversion, collectivity, and relationship, and has different communication theories, concepts, methods, and models from the West. So it makes Chinese communication research concentrate on individual, concrete, and dynamic recipients, rather than on focusing on groups, abstract, and passive audience. So in the eyes of Chinese people, a country is a home, and a home is a country. The theory applicable to interpersonal communication is also applicable to the internal management of countries and the communication between countries. It has also become an important feature of Chinese community theory to regard the organization as a family and to make organizational community interpersonal and family-loved. So, Robert Oliver has analyzed the distinctive features of Indian and Chinese rhetoric and identified unity and harmony as the basis of rhetoric and communication in Asia. He argued that the manner in which Asians communicate is different from that of the West. Hence, there is need to understand communication in the context of culture. It has been more than 2 decades since the Narayanakara model of communication was put forward. In the study of this communication model, on the one hand, I think it is necessary to clarify the differences between it and the Western classical communication model. And at the same time, it is necessary to study the similarities and differences between this communication mode and other Asian countries' communication ideas in the Asian context, which is of great significance for the further study of Sadaranikaran model of communication and other indigenous communication theories. The scholars in China are also working hard in this direction. Finally, I would like to extend a sincere invitation On October 2nd this year, the School of Public Administration of the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China and the School of Arts of Kathmandu University will hold the second Pan-Himalaya Communication and Social Development Forum in Kathmandu University. This is an important step in our efforts in this direction. So scholars from Himalaya regions are also very welcome to attend this meeting. Thank you all for your listening.
Thank you, Professor Han. We look forward to welcoming you in Kathmandu in October.